What is the most important gear for photographing buildings? Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rick McAvoy, architectural, construction and real estate photographer and creator in all things at the Photography Explained podcast. This week on my photography blog, a short post, a quick punchy post, and one that I rather enjoyed writing and I'm going to share with you now. So, the most important gear for photographing buildings is 1. A high quality full frame camera. Yep. 2. The right wide angle lens. 3. A tripod. 4. A geared tripod head. And 5. A loupe viewer to help see things. Yeah, that's my list. That's my 5 things. That's what I do. And this is the important gear that I use for photographing buildings. Shall I explain? I'll be quite quick on this one, so don't worry. First off, who am I? Well, as I said, Rick McAvoy, architectural, construction and real estate photographer. I photograph buildings. Building photography is my thing and I don't do much else. I do photograph places when I go on holiday. Travel photography is my other love, but I do also photograph buildings in those places. So let's get on, eh? And again, creator of the Photography Explained podcast, available at all good podcast providers. First one, a high quality full frame camera. Why a full frame camera? Well, this relates to the wide angle lens that you use. Now I use a Canon 6D. Yes, the Canon 6D, which when I was writing the blog post, I started writing that the Canon 6D was released in mid 2010s. Then I had a look on the old internet and it was actually announced in November 2012. So this November, the Canon 6D will be a ripe old 10 years old. But guess what? It was a great camera then and it's still a great camera now. So no, you do not need the latest, greatest, shiniest, funkiest, fanciest camera. You need a camera that takes great photos and the Canon 6D is one of them. I'm happy with it. I have no reason to change. Okay then, so full frame camera. A full frame camera has a sensor size, which is 20... I've forgotten, haven't I? It's 36 millimeters wide by 24 millimeters high. It's bigger than a crop sensor camera sensor, and it's bigger than a Micro Four Thirds camera sensor. So I know there's bigger cameras like large format, medium format and all that good stuff, but I need to be able to get around construction sites, so I don't need any big, heavy, expensive gear. The Canon 6D is the perfect fit for me. So, lenses. Right, I've had loads of lenses in my time. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down there on the blog post on my website just to make sure I'm covering everything. Which I'm not, because I haven't been following what I've written, but as I wrote it this morning, I should be okay. Now, I use a Canon 17 to 40 millimeter lens. It's an L series lens, as in the professional ones. It's not that big, not that expensive, and it's not that fast, as in the maximum aperture is f4. Now, pro lenses, you get faster ones with maximum apertures of f2.8 and f2 and what have you. I don't need it because I'm photographing buildings, and as I'm about to tell you, my camera's on a tripod. So fast lens just means more bulk, more weight, more cost, for no benefit. The 17 to 40 is probably an underrated lens, but it's a gem of a lens and I've been using it for years. And that's the only wide angle lens I've got now. I've got rid of everything else because I've never used them. So 17 to 40, and I use 17mm for 95% of my photos. 17mm is wide enough to get interiors and the exteriors of buildings. Any wider, you're going to start exaggerating. Any narrower, and you won't get interior spaces in. So 17 is good. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, all fine. But that's about where you want to be. 15 is probably pushing it, to be honest with you. Oh, yeah, in the blog post, I've got some links to other very related posts that I've written. So check it out, please. There's some good stuff on there. Next one is a tripod. Yes, a tripod. Well, buildings don't move, so get your camera on a tripod. I'm going to read this one, so here it goes. A tripod. Yes, a tripod. Buildings don't move. Well, most of them don't. So get your camera on a tripod. I take every photo on a tripod if I can, only going handheld or to something else if I can't, such as when I'm on a ladder or need to get my camera onto my painter's pole. Yes, really. Now the tripod needs to be sturdy enough to support the camera firmly and completely still. Now, the tripod needs to be sturdy enough to support the camera firmly and keep it completely still, but also light enough to get around buildings with ease. I could have worded that better, couldn't I? So the tripod needs to be sturdy enough to make sure that the camera is securely fixed and that when you stop mucking around with it, it's dead still. There's no movement, no vibration, okay? I'm going to reword that in the blog post. That's shocking. And I work on construction sites, so I need to be quick, nimble and agile. Well, as agile as I ever will be, and I've never been described as nimble, I'm not going to lie to you. Don't worry, if you know me or you met me, you'll know what I mean. So that's the tripod, and in theory any tripod will do because a tripod's just 3 legs. But what won't do anything of, more bad English, the tripod head. Now I use a geared head, and I'm going to do another video because I thought it might be a good idea to have the actual gear, but this is today's. Later on this week I will do another one with the actual gear in hand, okay? There's a few technical issues going on where I'm filming this at the moment, like no electricity and stuff, so it's all gone a bit pear-shaped today. A geared head for the tripod. So I have a Manfrotto X Pro geared head, and it's got levers so you can move things quickly, and then you can turn what are called micrometric knobs. That's Manfrotto's term, not mine. And they give precise adjustment, and that's on all 3 planes of the movement of the tripod head, and it's brilliant, and I couldn't be without it. So this tripod head helps me to get the composition bang on, and more significantly, get the building level and vertical, so I don't have to muck around in Lightroom later on getting the vertical sorted, because I'm doing it in camera, which we should be trying to do all the time. Shouldn't we? Yes, we should, Rick. Last one, a loupe viewer. I really need my camera for this. Basically, it's something that's stuck on the back of the camera, and it's got a little housing on it, and it's got a lens that magnifies the LCD screen. So when you get into my age and you've got these dodgy old mince pies, you need all the help you can get. It also acts as a brilliant sunshade, so they're not expensive. The one I use cost me 20-25 quid from you-know-who, Amazon. No, there's no link or anything like that. This isn't a shameless sellout plug video. And it's dead handy and helpful, and again it's helping me get the composition bang on in camera every time. That's it. That's the blog post. I might as well have read it out, mightn't I? So those are the 5 bits of photography gear that I use for all my building photography work. I use them all the time, so this isn't some made up list. This isn't something to get me on some SEO optimized post or anything. These are the things that I use all the time, and in the blog post I'm going to add some photos of them, which will help and make it a bit more pictorial, which can't be a bad thing, me being a photographer and all that. So if you want to know any more, check out my website, rickmcavoyphotography.com. There's lots of stuff on there. There's quite a few links to related things on the blog post. And also, let's not forget my splendid Photography Explained podcast, which has a website, photographyexplainedpodcast.com. Anything more to say? No, there isn't. Thank you for watching. And now we'll have that awful, awkward, embarrassing moment when I press stop on my remote control for my iPhone and nothing happens. Let's try it again. Nothing happened. I'll try again. Cheers from me, Rick.